So behind this area here, this spot, there's a factory hole. You need to make it just a little bit bigger, and you can fit an M5 nut cert in it, and that will hold this in place. And then if it needs to, it can just go back to factory. It's pretty cool. Power wire and ground went into place. And then there's one zip tie here to hold everything down. I like to remove this portion of the car here, this guy, to get the wire in and zip tie it into this far back corner. You also should remove right here that sticks out and kind of gets in the way of the wire. It's best to just flush cut that right off. You don't notice it, but your wire doesn't get pinched or anything like that. It makes things way easier. Slide the amp rack into place. Black Allen head screw. And that's it. Now she's bolted in. The only thing I have to do is finish running the wires up to the front of the vehicle and get these up into the dash. Pro tip, leave some wire here in the corner, meaning don't come directly out of this and down, maybe an extra 5 or 6 inches. The reason for that is that if you ever have to service this amp rack, you're gonna pull this screw, you wanna be able to lift it up to get to this fused distribution block mounted here on the bottom. Otherwise, you gotta pull this whole side off and kind of go out sideways. Don't do that. And of course, zip tie everything into place. When you have the right amount of slack here in the corner, bring your panel back around and snap it in. When putting this panel back in, it's best to start at the bottom and get it lined up. Starting at the top, it always gets kind of bound up and it won't go in right. All right, let's take a closer look at this now that it's bolted into place. For mounting the bass knob in the Ford, there's this area right here in the light panel that is fantastic for your standard bass knob. To get to it, pull off the fuse panel here on the side. There's a bunch of clips on it, as always. And then you can get to it from behind. Push it out. There's one clip, and as you can see here, it has this beautiful place here to mount the bass knob. Most of the time when you see a panel like this that has this flat area, the circuit board goes all the way across because there's something that's supposed to be here. We found in most of these F150s and Broncos, this is an open area. It looks like there's something that snaps onto here. As you can see, it's got these clips. But for us and for this vehicle, there isn't. So we can drill a hole and get our bass knob mounted. And there you have it. Bass knob mounted in place. Clip it back in. I don't like to leave these things unclipped. We can just leave it dangling. In this case, it's easy enough to get in and out. We'll just kind of snap it back in halfway until we get the wire ran into place. That way the lights are connected and we don't have to worry about them turning on or off if the car doing something weird. The wires all ran into their position. We now have the wire for the bass knob in place. It's zip tied to the main wiring harness that comes up to this. Plug it in. And these style 1/8 inch connectors, make sure that you plug them all the way in, push really hard, and snap it back into place. We also ran all the wires up into the dash, and now we need to get them all plugged in. These wires here are the ones coming from our amplifier. I have this connector here, this one, and this one. They're all color coded and directional, which means I have a male and a female end. All I have to do at this point is plug my green and purples together, which are my tweeters, the white and grays, which are my front mid bass, and then there's another set of white and grays that have the opposite end on them. Those are my signal going back to my amplifier. That's all we have to do here behind the dash. No soldering or anything like that. These connections make everything super easy, which means I can snap in the top plate cover and add in my 2 screws. With those last 2 screws put in, the only thing I have left to do is put the side of the car back together and get that subwoofer box right there wired up. So that, I guess, let's wire up some subs. The subwoofers we're using are these guys right here. This is the Audio Control Spike Series 10 S2s. It means it's a 10-inch single voice coil 2 ohm driver. Inside the box there's a cutout sheet, some instructions, big piece of foam, and buried underneath it, our subwoofer. Audio control does a really great job with this particular subwoofer. It's nice, it's boomy. The one thing is it is a little undersized, so you do have to keep that in mind. Make sure you measure to make sure it'll fit in your enclosure. If you're getting something that has a bigger 10-inch hole, this is 10 inches, so it's a little thinner. The grill comes pre-installed, which is nice. You can take it out by flipping up this rubber gasket, but because it comes pre-installed, it does make our job a little bit easier. On the back side, we have a nice big magnet with a rubber cover around it. It's a pretty blue. It is a single voice coil, which means there's only one set of leads over here, and then there's a little spike cap on the other side over here. And the box also is this bag of screws. It kind of runs the gamut of everything you could possibly need depending on what you're putting in. It comes with some coarse screws, comes with some machine threads, and if you're going to use the machine threads, it comes with the corresponding screw-in wood nutsert. And it's just a pretty woofer. For the speaker cup, we make our own speaker cup now. This uses a XT90 in it, and it is a plate mount. We 3D print these out of material, and then we put a cork backing on it, so this will screw into place and be sealed up. We do this because it's a much cleaner, and if they ever need to remove it, we used to put ferrules on the end and shrink wrap it, make it look as pretty as we can. And we still do that if it's a factory enclosure that just has those, like a kicker box or something along those lines. On boxes, we can put our speaker cups on to provide these, just because it looks nicer. Fox Rhino lines his boxes, which means the best thing to do in order for your screws to go in and not have blowouts and not do stupid things is to pre-drill through the Rhino liner. No, I don't go all the way through. I really only go down about 1/4 of an inch, just enough to get through. I want the screw to really dig into this. Blow out all your screw holes. We're gonna use those cool screws that it came with. Get these all screwed in. I'll meet you in the back of the truck. This is the end that is gonna plug into our box. It's plenty long. It actually only needs to be right here, but that way it can slide the box around. And we have to slide the box in right now. Come this way, son. The last thing we need to do is go hook up the power since the box is in. Let's go take a look at that. Fernando made his fuse holder mounted off to the side of the battery here. It bolts into place down here and is easily removable. The fuse is the stinger, so these just snap off and the base stays in place if they ever need to do anything. Ground right here. Do not go here. This device here tells the alternator when the battery is low, ramps it up, ramps it down. This is a very important piece. It's basically a clamp and the ground goes through it. If you put it on this bolt, the system is not going to know that you're drawing a bunch of current through it because it is not metered off of the positive, metered here. So make sure you go to this bolt. Plus this bolt is much easier to get on and off. This one has a stamp in it that makes getting this on and off really hard because they don't want you to accidentally pull it all off, drop it while you're changing the battery. This one just goes to this bolt here, not this bolt, this bolt. The reason why you don't use this bolt is because you can see it's black, it's anodized. In order to use this bolt, you'd have to remove all the black anodized material off of it because this, believe it or not, acts as a great insulator and will reduce the amount of voltage that is going to get to your amplifier. This is a very common problem when using this on Mustangs. We always have to sand these things perfectly clean in order to use them. The last thing we want to take a look at is here where the power wire comes through the firewall. It is now insulated with the 3M strip caulk to keep any moisture or water or bugs or whatever from getting into the car now that we have added an extra hole to it. So going through a quick checklist, new speakers are in, A-pillars, doors are back together, obviously speakers in the doors, amps are mounted, car's just doing random stuff. These Fords do that, it's fantastic. All the plugs are behind the radio. Did we forget anything?
That's it, no?